Good afternoon and welcome to our esteemed guest and all the learners who have joined this webinar session. I am Dr. Anushree Gupta from BJ and Radar Opus team. The topic for today's webinar session is NOSODES history and clinical utility in homeopathy. And our speaker for today's session is a renowned personality in the field of homeopathy, Dr. M.K. Sahani sir. Before starting the session, I will take this privilege to give a brief introduction about him to the audience today. Dr. Mridul Kumar Sahani is an eminent personality of homeopathy. He has done B.Sc, D.H.M.S, M.D. Home, PGDHHM, Symbiosis, CCCR Symbiosis, PhD, MUHS. He has worked under Dr. B. Sahani, a recognized scientist and discoverer of transmission of medicine energy from a distance. He is founder of Research Institute of Sahani Drug Transmission and Homeopathy and also chairman of the same. He is former chairman, Education Committee for more than 5 years at CCH New Delhi. Former member Education Committee for approx 22 years at CCH New Delhi. Professor and HOD at GD Memorial Homeopathic Medical College and Hospital, Patna. Chief Editor at Journal of Homeo Transmission, Patna and Homeo Tarang, Patna. Winner of many international and national awards. So I would like to thank you, Dr. Sahani sir, for giving us this opportunity of this webinar. Now let's start with this learning session. And to the audience, we will be taking the Q&A at the end of the session. Now I would like to hand over to Dr. Sahani sir. So sir, kindly start with this learning session.
Thank you, Dr. Ansu, for your nice introductions. Since we have to talk about the NOSODES, I will try to provide as much information as possible, what I have understood about the NOSODES, and why we should have the NOSODES only, or besides the other medicines. So, as we know that in homeopathy we have the medicines right from every sources available on the planet. Every sources, I say every sources. We have the medicines from the plant kingdom, we have the medicines from the mineral kingdom, as well as the animal kingdom. Then there are also medicines from the imponderable area beyond our reach. So this is unimaginable. Then another basic information that whatever we are related, our life, however we exist, and our relationship, our existence, it is very important. And that existence becomes sometimes disturbed by some of the forces, and we require the similar type of the medicines like. So we have the medicines from the healthy tissue also, and we have the medicines from the diseased tissue also. So this is very much peculiar for the homeopathy that we are using every resources available on the planet, including our life force, including our body, including our mind, and including everything that is available. Every element that is available in your body available, and they belongs beyond the periodic table also. In the periodic table also, you will see that there are variety. I think 108 elements are listed there. I don't know beyond that it is there or not, but there are many more elements, and you may be aware that all these elements are available within your life, within your body, and it keeps on changing. And only thing that is needed for the health is the balance. It is the balance, and the balance will make you the disease. If it gets imbalanced, you will be disease, and the balance, if it is imbalanced, it will be the health. So let me, among all the resources for today's session, I have taken the topics of NOSODES. Let me share my PPT so that we can get a better understanding about why the NOSODES are being used, what is the history behind it, how it is prepared, and how it has to be administered to process and everything. So I am sharing my screen now. This topic has been titled as Journeying into the Homeopathic. So let me discuss about this journey. You means it is right from the history to the present day usage and what happened in between all. So know that pathological changes are visualized in different forms. What is the level of the pathology? This is very important for us to understand. The pathology is the changed aspects of the physiological change. To change from the point where it gets changed, and then the process is get changed, and it gets stabilized. So pathology is different, and from where the pathology starts, that we have to understand. From where it starts. It starts from your mind. It also starts from your body. Any other area, any part of your life, and it can be visualized in the different parts, depending on the type, depending on the nature. The disease tissue are embedded in the complete codified symptoms as a summary. And now, what this disease tissue represents? This disease tissue represents the changes that we can say that the codified symptoms that is. So pathology is very important understanding for the other system of medicine for us also. But for us, it is more. It has got more meaning because it includes the pathology, the tissue that the disease tissue that we see. It has got the informations, codified informations related to the changes, the history, and everything. So what I see that this pathology are the changed, altered life stage, representative of the altered life stage of any individual. Now, and it is also important to know that due to the changes in the biodiversity, the epidemics of infectious disease are now occurring more often and are spreading faster and further than ever across the region of the world. The factors underlying this create are biological, environmental, and lifestyle changes, among others. A potentially dead combinations of newly emerging disease and the re-emergence of many long-established ones demands urgent response in all countries. Homeopathy since its discovery has recorded success in dealing with epidemics such as the Spanish flu, cholera, plague, yellow fever, dengue, and many more. Recently, leptospirosis, 𝐀𝐛𝐨𝐮𝐭, and recently, a few months back, I heard about the Chandipura virus, which is spreading in the Gujarat as well as in the Maharashtra and Kerala. So during epidemic, there are two ways of finding homeopathic prophylaxis. One is identifying a medicine based on the basis of the symptoms of several patients and suffering from the epidemic disease. Now, the advent of homeopathy, Hahnemann's theory of the mild, it caused a great interest, and I say that it was a revolution in the understanding of the chronic disease. As with the miasmatic understanding, what we have observed, what we have seen is that the element has tried to go into the basic root cause and root changes parts. The superficial and the superficial things that which is visible to us, it is observed by all. But for a physician, it is required. What is the minute changes are, where the minute changes are gone, and what is the reason for that? And Dr. Hahnemann spent more than 12 years to find out the phenomena of miasma as a position for all type of disease. One of the direct consequences of the publication of chronic disease was the development of the tissue of development of the use of miasmatic organism as potential homeopathic remedy. So, from the in invisible causes to the visible causes. It covers, miasma covers everything. The invisible covers things and visible. The earliest experiments with the nosodes was carried out by Constantine Hering while he was in Suriname, Patna, South America between 1827 and 1833. Hence, insight into the disease tissue indicates towards the scope of further clinical application. How we can apply these tissue to be used as the medicine, used as the medicinal substance. So medicines from the rubbish, the medicines from the garbage, medicines from the toxicity. This is the thing. And what we think about the medicines, what is the definition of the medicine? Any substance which has the capacity to change, produce a change in your life status, they are medicine. And who can change your life status? The life status are, if it is favorable, it is a better change. But it is not favorable, it is toxic change. So toxic changes and favorable changes both are happening together. So this is that. And when you think about the disease, that means changes which creates a discomfort in your life. This is important thing. And nosodes represents the medicines derived from the diseased. Medicines derived from the diseased. Friends, now how the emergence nosodes emerge? So miasma and the nosodes. So in the beginning I told you the nature of infection, how it infects. Then it gets converted into the chronic disease, and it must have the underlying causes, then miasma response and constitutional impact. What does it mean? What does it mean? Every individuals are different from each other. So himself, the man is the causation for the disease. Because in original point number 5, he writes that there are the two fundamental causes, not one, two fundamental causes. The person who is individual and who is accepting the disease. The person who is individual and who is accepting the disease. And the type of the infections that is entering into your life. So when both them meet together, there appears a resultant action, and that resultant action is known as the disease. That causes the disease, and that is also known that appears as a symptom. Every disease must have the symptom, whether it is perceptible or not perceptible. So miasma response, how the miasma responds. And then constitutional, the two things are there, miasma and the constitutional impact. Both are important learning for the emergence of the. Now let me get into some of the backgrounds of the nosodes. The word nosodes is from the Greek word that is known as the nosodes. Nosodes, N-O-S-O-S. It is a biological preparation used in the homeopathic medicine. Okay. Nosodes are a specific category of homeopathic treatment derived from an element of a disease or from disease tissue defined as homeopathically prepared remedy made from an infectious disease product, either directly from the bacteria or virus, or less directly from the tissue purported to contain it. The preparation of the nosodes involves succession of serial dilution of the biological material. The concept of these concepts are very much relevant with the Hahnemannian concept, which is tried to explain about the nature of the disease. Hahnemann said that the nature of the disease is it's the changes, and anything that causes the changes will be the condition of the disease. The first generation homeopaths who introduced the nosodes were Hahnemann himself, Hering, Lux, Ross, and Stack. Hering gathers a tremendous amount of first-hand experience in proving nosodes and applying them. Ideal remedy to acute and chronic disease. Hering introduced to all new remedies, yet he clearly pointed out their limitations. What is the limitation? What are the limitations of the applications of the disease? Only thing that is applicable is its nature. Nature is important. So all these isopathic situations cannot be regarded as absolute. Mind it that no medicines can be absolute infection, even the NOSODES also, because NOSODES prepared from one sources must have the similarity according to the reason. Common public threats include emergence of antibiotics. Now the present state, what is happening? We are very much initially we found that with the antibiotics we have found a very wonderful medicine, and that is based on killing the biology, killing the viruses, and this is against the nature's law. Nature's never said to kill, but antibiotics were prepared to kill the disease, kill the virus, kill the viruses. So it is not that, and it is nowadays it is globally accepted, globally increasing, and it has also becoming a threat for the medical environment. So contributing factors for this emergence are linked to the underlying biological and environmental issues, lifestyle changes, and the misuse of over-prescribing of the antibiotics. Nowadays, even the slightest fever you get, the doctor will prescribe you an antibiotic along with the paracetamol. And despite the strengthening health infrastructure, every epidemic and multi-drug resistance bacterium poses a challenge to the government, policymakers, health professionals, and the whole population. Data available on homeopathic methods as well as present evidence that is available to support the use of homeopathic methods in disease prevention and treatment. It also highlights several clinical trials and in vitro studies of the use of homeopathic to target healthy tissue and have the potential to harm public health and that those could possibly assist in reducing the healthcare costs. In the last 5 years of his life, Dr. Herring has spent studying on the plant and animal species. You know that why Dr. Hahnemann entered into the homeopathy. He entered only to decry or get it prove that homeopathy is not right. But he was a very open-hearted person. He accepted he was a researcher. When he read about the philosophy of homeopathy and he paid a special and understanding, he became a staunch follower of the homeopathy. And now we call him a founder of the homeopathy, one of the pillars of the homeopathy. So in the last 5 years of his age, he has spent studying plant and animal species. He paid special attention to the virulent snake and spider poison as well as mathematics. This was the time when Herring captured the bushmaster snakes, you know, the lachesis that supplied the first venom for the proving of lachesis. Homeopathic nosodes are now what we consider this lachesis. Lachesis is the poison of the poison of the lachesis snakes and that snakes. And that snake is the healthy part of the animal, and it is a device. This poison is a device for the self-protection. We all are provided with the self-protection. We all have the God has given us an ability how to fight our enemy. So that's why snake also have the self-protective measure how to fight out with their other enemies by the poison. So homeopathic nosodes, we usually say that the nosodes, lachesis is not a nosodes. It can be taken as the opposite of the nosodes, that is the sarcos. Well, although many people say that they have classified it under different classifications as the animal Opida group medicines, that is the animal group medicine, but it can be thought like that if they are the sarcos also. So homeopathic nosodes are homeopathic remedies sourced from diseased materials and organic. Homeopathic nosodes may be used to treat and prevent infectious and non-infectious disease. The incidence of infectious disease like epidemic is now occurring more often around the world. Friends, now what is the public health concern nowadays? Concept: public health, public hygiene, antibiotics, and this is the present. So dramatic change in the world, in which until comparatively recently, infectious disease were the most common cause for the death during the childhood. Now, let me share some information about the nosodes and the vaccine. That how they are. The conceptual model of for how the nosodes prevent an infectious disease is very different from the current medical models of how immunity develops and how the human immune system responds to the infectious disease. There is a little research in the scientific literature to support the effectiveness of the nosodes. A study performed in 1997 using murine model exposed to a potential lethal dose of Francisella tularensis demonstrated a reduced time to death in the group treated with the nosodes and modest decrease in mortality compared with the control. A large-scale opportunistic cohort study using the nosodal preparations in the context of a potential leptospirosis epidemic in Cuba appeared to be associated with the reduced infection rate, although there were multiple confounders and the study has yet to be replicated. Then animal studies assessing the potential efficacy of nosodes in the context of Plasmodium verge infection also appears to demonstrate longer survival time of the murine model. Now, by contrast, the evidence that all the vaccines routinely prescribed to Canadian children are both safe and efficacious is overwhelming. Now, this is the concept. The vaccine prevents almost all cases of measles, mumps, rubella, diphtheria, tetanus, polio, and hepatitis. Every year, routine vaccines also prevent large number of cases of the bacteria, chickenpox, pertussis, whooping cough, meningitis, bacterial infection. Research has not been studied for the prevention of any of these. So this is the difference. Vaccine has been as a preventive medicine, but nosodes has not been studied as a medicine for that. Yet, in some of the homeopaths, they use these nosodes as a preventive also. Nosodes are approved for human health under the Health Canada Natural Health Products Regulation, and in India also we are using the homeopathy safely under the drug policy also. While nosodes are prepared from inactivated disease products of human, animal or vegetable origin or culture of microorganisms, sarcodes are remedies prepared from the individual healthy organs of organisms, as well as from isolated body substance of the human or animal origin. Now, in the beginning, I told you that we have the medicines from the health, we have the medicines from the disease. All the medicines, the healthy part of the body, they also contribute to be used as a medicines, and also the disease parts, they also contribute to be used as a medicine. So, sarcodes represents those medicines which are the healthy parts, healthy products from the life process, and the nosodes are the disease products of the life. In the Hahnemann's mind, the idea of using unproved disease substance on patients just because they suffered from the same contagion was far too limited. Hahnemann reviewed the use of miasma as homeopathic remedy and pointed out that where herring was not the same old isopathic medicine, because the material used was potentized by the homeopathic techniques and given in minimal dose. So this is the difference from the isopathic. The changes and what ordinary isopathic substance into a homeopathic remedy is used. Now, classifications of nosodes, how many types of nosodes are there? There are the basic nosodes, there are the XSL nosodes, isopathic nosodes, autogenous nosodes, intestinal nosodes, and tautopathic nosodes. Nosodes are miasmatic substance, is potentized or transmuted. Depending on the nature of the material used, they have been classified. Preparations from N1 is known as the preparation made from the bacterial endotoxins. N2 is known as the preparations made from microorganisms capable of producing exotoxins. The N3 is preparations made from the purified toxins, and N4 preparations made from the microorganism or disease. So this is another one classification. Then what we call about, there are some of the examples for the classification of nosodes. Basic nosodes are our Salsorinum, Bacillinum, widely used in homeopathy, Cyprinum, Medorinum, and Carcinosis. Extensamic nosodes, there are the Morbillinum, Paraptidinum, Vaccinum, Pertussinum, Bacterium. These are the disease area, that is the Variolinum, Influenzinum. Then isopathic nosodes, which has been prepared from the streptococci, that is the bacterial pneumococci, staphylococci, malaria, autogenous, and pyrogynium. Autogenous nosodes, secretion or discharges from the pathological tissue or organ in the cell for the treatment. But this is individual. You can use your urine also to treat your disease. You can use your blood also in the disease condition to treat your disease. Autogenous nosodes. Then intestinal nosodes. It is found in your intestinal this is they are the Bacillus proteus, Bacillus dysenteria, dysenteria coli, Bacillus morgan, Bacillus Bacillus mutable, Bacillus Gartner, Bacillus number 7, and Edward Bach. Then there are the tautopathic medicine. What is tautopathic medicine? They are the allopathic drugs which has been potentized homeopathically for the same condition. Like that, we have the medicine from the paracetamol, we have the medicines prepared from streptomycin, we have the medicines prepared from penicillinum. So many medicines are there, and they are grouped under the tautopathic medicine. How we prepare the medicine nosodes? So there are several steps. First step is the identification and procurement of source material. It is necessary to identify and document the authentic source material. The organism may include bacteria, virus, protozoa, parasites, or fungi, or other biological materials can be sourced from academic or commercial sources. So any organism, there are several things are there. So the isolation and procurement is important. Then the source material strain, use of the latest prevalent of or standard strain of organism, resistant strain, combination of various strains, fresh clinical samples or biological materials of the disease subjects are used when culture is not available. Then organism count. This is another important information. Count of the organism in the source material or in the mother source must be specified, achievable, and significant. The recommended organism count for making the nosode suggest HPI, Homeopathic Pharmacopoeia of India, is 20 billion CFT. Second, nature of the material. Depending upon the nature of the material, whether the organisms are capable of producing endotoxins, exotoxins, made from purified toxins or made from microviruses or clinical material from diseased subjects, the preparations are divided into the four groups. Now, the first group is, as we have already summarized it earlier, endotoxins. It is prepared from the lysate of the microorganism capable of producing bacterial endotoxins like the typhodinum. Then group N2, exotoxins, preparations made from the microorganism capable of producing exotoxins. Toxicity of the strain is established before the use, that is the deuterium. Then group 3 is the purified toxins, preparations made from the purified toxins. Purification of toxin is achieved by ultrafiltration, jet filtration, chromatography, or by affinity chromatography, that is a tuberculum. And then there is a preparations made from microorganism, viruses, clinical materials from human convalescence for the disease subject, that is an example and procedure. Now, third step is removal of the common infections contamination. You have to use the pure substance. The purity of the source material has to be established. All possible contaminants must be removed. In case of source material belong to the blood sample, they must be tested to rule out the other possible co-infections. In case of hepatitis C, HIV, but no source, possible co-infections such as gonorrhea, syphilis, herpes, and tuberculosis should be ruled out. In case of pure culture, this step can be omitted. Now comes the fourth step, that is the removal separations of other components. In case of any source from the serum expressions, centrifugations, and or filtrations can be used to procure the organism from the source material. If the source is sourced from blood samples, the samples are subject to centrifugation to obtain clear serum and filtration. That is done through the process like the siege filter to get rid of cell surface and the unidentified bacteria. If the source material is obtained from the scrapping of parasite infected animal or human tissue, then the pure parasite is isolated from large protein creatinine component of skin by boiling the scrapping with potassium hydroxide in water. Now comes the step 5, that is characterization of the source material. Microorganisms need to be characterized in terms of strain as per the latest available technology. In case bacteria strain characterization and for viruses, typing is done, known the type or subtype viruses. And sixth step is more important, safety. Stringent biosafety complaints environment is recommended with the minimum handling use sealed container and disposable orthotic pipettes. And then we have now that after this, our steps starts, that homeopathic stage, that is the preparation of the mother tincture. Tincture is prepared with equal part of the weight of the drug and alcohol, sometimes water in the ratio of 9:1. Then drug substances that are soluble in alcohol or distilled water are successed. And then substances which are soluble are prepared by Hahnemann's method of titration. Drug substance is titrated with a solid vehicle like lactose, the ratio of 1:10. Then they are converted into the liquid potency, and further potentization is earlier carried out by the process of the surface. So now the dynamitization process, it is the same like that of any other medicine. One part of the mother tincture is diluted in 99 parts of the alcohol or in a mixture of the water or alcohol. This liquid is then sucked 10 times in the bottle by thermal, hitting the bottle base against the pulp but resisted surface such as the palm of a hand or leather covered wood. The reacting liquid is called 1C potency, referring to the first stage of the dilution, and it has been labeled as C, referring to 1:100 dilution rate. Then one part of the 1C is again diluted into the 99 part of alcohol or water, and alcohol mixture, and then it will constitute 2C. This serial process of digestion and succession is known as potentization is further repeated to produce increasingly higher potency of the remedy. The process of succession activity activates the potency or vital energy or medicinal property in the form of energy of the diluted drug substance, and that successive dilution increases the potency of the then lipolyzation is the 10th stage. Lipolyzation of the original stock to allow remaking of the nosodes in future without any need for the repeat. So that is in homeopathy usually we call them the back potency, but it is also the labeled as it lipolyzation. In future, a centralized depository system could be made where standard raw materials can be prepared for the future. So modern, this is about how we prepare the medicine. Now, modern vaccines have more common to fruits isopathic than homeopathic because they are unpotentized. And homeopathic medicines are potentized, homeopathic fruits are potentized. This limits their use for the treatment and prevention of one single disease condition on contrary homeopathy. NOSODES has been proven so that it can be used as a part of the greater materia medica. That is the polycrest. Now, many of the NOSODES has become polycrest in our homeopathy. This allows it to be prescribed more accurately as well as applied in the simililimum in the many different situations. And whereas the vaccines are used for one condition, the homeopathic NOSODES can be used for different conditions. In terms of using the NOSODES, its similarity with the plant, minerals, and animal kingdom medicine. When a NOSODE is administered by the totality of the symptoms, it is a constitutional simililimum, just like the mineral and plant and animal remedy. The NOSODES belong to a genus of primitive miasma, which are the first life form on our planet and symbiotically related to the development of the first plant algae. The minerals are the first remedy on the developmental chain, followed by the miasma, fungi, lichens, ferns, algae, ferns, gymnosperms, dicotyledons, monocotyledons, and finally the animal remedy. The NOSODES genus looks at a very special place in the classification of the classical homeopathy. What Dr. Hahnemann thoughts about says about the NOSODES. Hahnemann wanted the NOSODES to be well proven before it is entered into the materia medica. This was the initial thought. He was quite concerned that homeopathy might become mixed with the isopathic, which gives a remedy for this work only by the poison. So Dr. Hahnemann was concerned with the use of the medicines. Whichever medicines are included into the materia medica, they must be well proved. One who is given credit for introducing contemporary medorinum and cyprinum was asked if it was correct to use unproven NOSODES. He replied that hundreds of years of these genus disease and their complications provides a natural food. This medorinum, I say that is a historical unproved proven NOSODES. Then miasmatic representations of them. Now, it is also very important that how this NOSODES represents the miasma. Tendency to get the action and react to the external stimulus is well presented through the phoric miasma, as it is also a basic tendency for the living organ. Life which is to survive needs to get adjustment in the environment, which includes compensatory features. This leads to get inflamed or indurated like growth or inflammation. It represents middle stage of the life and it is known as the psychotic miasma. Life has to finally get destructed, as such destructions and decaying aspects are representative of the syphilitic miasma. Tendency of becoming abnormal is also part of accommodations, and mixed impressions are observed, and it is represented by the tubercular miasm. Nowadays, we are also uh, learning, exploring into the cancer miasma, AIDS miasma, and many more miasma. Nosodes bring understanding of the miasma and miasmatic information connections, direct representations for simililimum with the medicine. But we have to keep in mind, whenever we talk about the direct simililimum, we must have the totality of the symptoms in our mind before we use it as a specific direct representation. Most characteristics, now we are going to have some indications where we should utilize this source. Most characteristic indications for the nosodes are those come out from the proving or the patient under the treatment. This is the first idea. There are a specific way that the miasma disease tube vital force producing a characteristics group of symptoms. Characteristics group of the set of the symptoms that may be. Having noticed that certain characteristic symptoms are associated or indicated of the miasmatic intercurrent and nosodes. Just as homeopathy, who work with the family of remedies, recognizes the symptoms of the plant, mineral, and animal remedies, and having recognized the characteristics of the nosodes family. These characteristics include indications of the miasma concomitant to lack of vital reaction, to well-chosen remedy, constant changing of the symptoms after administering the remedy, fragmented picture of the several constitutional remedy, and one-sided miasmatic pathology with few characteristics. So the characteristics where you can think, and in the repertory also, if you go to the synthesis repertory, radar opus also, you can say many of the rubric lack of vital reactions, and a lack of vital reactions, constantly changing symptoms, alternating symptoms, then fragmented disease picture, and constitutional medicine, and one-sided disease are the characteristic feature which becomes very much important for prescribing the source. Attention which may be what our attention may be called to the use of nosodes when the patient no longer progresses under the influence. Suppose you have selected a constitutional medicine and that constitutional medicines work for some time, and after that it stops working and no changes is going on. Then that means there is some obstruction, something lagging behind, and to remove that obstruction, nosodes may be used. Another important indication for the nosode is never well being. So, in the repertory, you will have the rubrics like convulsions, like never well since, then like never well after the tuberculosis, never well after the abortion, never well after the tuberculosis or any influenza, pneumonia, after taking cold in the childhood, and that develops into the gradually keep on continuing. The miasmatic block is what is the basic thing is that for attention that is drawn to comes to our mind is the removing the blockage of the miasma that is keeping a one-sided status. The lack of symptoms and yet general history of the indication of miasma is to be the background. So what happens with the when you have the constitutional remedy and you have prescribed the medicines agree to work because it has to work, but there are something behind that you have not observed and not been included into the constitutional selection of the medicine, and that time. But if you have mind it, if you have selected the medicines constitutional remedy, that is where we have in the background we consider the back history also, like past history of asthma, past history of tuberculosis, past history of such and such disease, family history of such and such disease. All these rubrics are also available in your repertory. So they can, and at that time I feel, and I have also observed in my practice that it becomes the complete totality. And if that totality is there, there will be no use to any other removal clearance method. A magnetic block in a case can produce one-sided state with a lack of symptoms, yet the general symptoms or indications of the miasma is in the background. So NOSODES group characteristics are a signal to investigate the chronic miasma and map their sign and symptoms, as well as looking closely for the symptoms of major NOSODES and anti-miasmatic miasmic. So normally one will find objective sign and subjective symptom, objective sign and subjective symptom that will individualize the remedy if it is indicated over the years. The use of NOSODES as chronic intercurrent remedy has proved of assistance to the constitutional treatment if it is correctly used. So pathology and NOSODES, what is the difference? What is the similarity? Pathology, NOSODES as a pathological product has an impression of both disease and the life. What does the pathology indicate? Pathology indicates the tissue is suppressed but not dead. NOSODES are regarded as imprint of the disease tissue, which address the underlying patterns. What we talk about the disease tissue means this tissue represents the life constitution as well as the disease constitution. The immune response are related to the pathological condition that helps to fight the disease. As eliminating factor, NOSODES reduces the toxicity, and with the simililimum effects, regeneration of process of the life is decreased. So, and how we have to now the second important part for our clinical practice is way of administering the NOSODES. The first indication for the NOSODES is when the mental, physical, general, and particular symptoms are characteristic to the proving of the remedy. This is the first way. An example of this would be the use of strychnine to a person who fears the knife because of the suffering. It brings fear, going insane, despair, or recovery, as delusion that they are dirty, tainted, or impure, causing them to compulsively wash their hands. So washing mania, you might have heard, and this becomes one of the prominent indications for the strychnine. The symptoms confirms both miasmatic diagnosis and the simililimum. In such case, the derangement of the vital force occurs in such a manner that it takes the symptoms. In some cases, this state may or may not be directly linkable to the corresponding miasma. Others are born with this tendency due to the inherited miasma. Then second is the to give second place is the well to give remedy to not act. An example of this use of the NOSODES is Sorinum keynotes, lack of reaction. When well-chosen remedy fails to act, especially in those who are extremely sensitive to cold, suffering from profuse sweating, filthy smell, dirty-looking skin, and tends to be very pessimistic about their recovery. Another example for this rubric is tuberculinum keynotes, when symptoms are constantly changing as well as selected remedies do not improve, especially in those who have light complexion, narrow chest, lack fiber, low recuperative power, and constantly catch cold. They may also fear of the cats, dogs, and animals in general, a desire to travel, and deep discontent state of the tendency to curse, fear, and desire to break the things. So these are the examples that suggest you that the medicines is not the medicines that we have selected was not working, so you have to use them. Then Second condition of our using well-chosen remedy do not act, hold, or just change the symptoms. This is usually called the chronic miasma, that is soda, psychosis, pseudosoda, and syphilis. This is one of the reasons why it is important to know that miasma are in the background of the constitution. The syndrome. Otherwise, the prescriber may think they are choosing the wrong remedy, further confuse the situation by picking more and more useful. Now, lack of symptoms. Many times the patient will come and you may not be able to find that all the symptoms. The third way to use the NOSODES is when there is a lack of symptoms. There are the times when there are very few symptoms by which to prescribe. The often one-sided case where the strong inherited or acquired miasma has expressed the ability to the of the constitutions to show symptoms. Other than the signs related to the pathology of one or another of the miasma, the symptoms of each cases are not very characteristics of any chronic miasma. This may be the chronic state caused by the miasma description. Black then tuberculinum in King lectures, it seems from looking over the records of many curses that this remedy has been given many times for just that escape on the paucity of the symptoms. And if the records can be believed, it has many times banished of the constitution in that anemic state where the inheritance has been IJCH. That is the tuberculosis. It is not the best indications for tuberculosis, but where the symptoms agree in condition addition to the inheritance, then you may have indications for the remedy. Besides the cane, there was two things that may happen or after the ingestion of the NOSODES of such case. First, the symptoms may improve and bring a constitutional constitution toward the state of health. And second, the symptoms of the patient may become more plentiful and suspended layers within the constitution. So, this medicine is right that this tuberculosis has worked to remove the and develop the more symptoms so that you can draw a better simililimum on the basis of the new totality. The new state allows the homeopathic practitioner to prescribe a chronic remedy based on the newly arising syndrome and advance the case forward. Then next point is the never well seen syndrome. That I call it syndrome because sometimes we are aware, sometimes we are not aware, and acceptable, and sometimes it is not acceptable. So they are in the way. Fourth conditions of using the NOSODES is when a person has not recovered from the miasmic infection and its suppression. This state is called never well seen syndrome, NWS. An example of this condition is the use of medorinum in a person who has the history of psychosis from which they have never recovered. Perhaps a newly layer of the disease has been added to their constitution by a suppressed gonorrhea and the change both their physical health and personality. They no longer manifest the symptoms of the constitutional remedy because acquired miasma has become active layer and suppressed their natural temperament. Once they may have been sharp intellect, clear memory, and a calm nature, but all that have changed the worse. Now they have become very hurried. Now this is after, and for them the time passes too slowly. They cannot follow the threads of conversation because they are losing their memory and they have become fearful, dark, superstitious, and suffer from delusion that someone or something is always behind them. So suspicious, hurriedness, they are indicators for something is there behind. The last symptoms is very indicative of the paranoid suspicion that state of the psychosis is present in the subconscious here, that something is going to behind the claims, like the delusion is there, someone is seated behind or get them or following. Never well seen syndrome can also be applied to that acute miasma. like relapsing symptoms. Symptom fever coming and going, coming and going. This is relapsing symptoms that is very much um, uh, coming up in our clinics. There are times when a person has never fully recovered from the acute illness or the mind. And another important thing, the unresolved acute state still have an effect of the vital force as it has formed a layer within the constitution. If it is imbalanced, it is strong, it will become the dominant layer and replace the older, weaker symptoms. This is often called by acute miasma like influenza, diphtheria, measles, mononucleosis, and whooping cough, from which the patient never will really recover. A proper chronic remedy may remove the effects of an unresolved acute miasma, but when does not, the source of the offending miasma will cure them. Nosodes from these acute miasma are available from the homeopathic pharmacy under the name of influenzinum, diphtherinum, morbillinum, and pertussinum. And fifth is the very partial picture of the constitutional remedy manifest, yet no one remedy can completely fix that. So here we are using the series point remedy. The fifth way of use of nosode is when partial picture of the constitutional remedy manifest, yet no one remedy completes picture. So you get the broken picture of the case. Such case seems to be fragmented and disorganized, but this pattern is characterized by the miasma and nosode. An investigation into the miasma behind the fragmented picture may reveal the symptoms of the nosode family. Differential analysis will quickly show which miasma is involved and what nosodes may remove the system. Such an intercurrent often improves the state of health and regularize the natural symptom pattern. After the nosodes has done all it can be to do, symptoms will point more clearly toward the constitutional and anti-miasmatic remedy. This is the way nosodes can be. In this way, nosodes can bring order out the chaos and clarity out of the confusion. And sixth point is important: when the miasma layer obstructs the progress of the constitutional remedy. The sixth way of using the nosodes is when miasmatic layer obstructs the progress of constitutional remedy. That means you have to use it. The use of nosodes is called the miasmic intercurrent medicine. Example of the patients whose symptoms pointed to the inherited pseudo-phoric miasma and the case work out to be the Calcutta perfectly. This is all coherent because Calcutta is strongly anti-tuberculinum as the individual constitutional remedy. After several months of the solid improvement, the patient begins to relapse with the same symptoms, and to one great surprise, the Calcutta no longer works. So there is no change in the symptoms. Symptoms have not changed, and the old remedy have become completely ineffective, even after the increasing of the potency. If the underlying symptomatology shows the tuberculinum miasma, it can unlock and block cases with the tubercular miasma, such as the tuberculosis. In the above example, the tuberculinum nosodes sets the stage for the reintroduction of the Calcutta by resensitizing the vital. So what the tuberculinum will do here? It will clean the path so that the Calcutta may be active. Then two things may happen after the miasmic intercurrent. The nosodes may move to the case forward by removing the active symptom. When this happens, it is best to stay with the nosodes as long as the improvement lasts. If this improvement ceases, the remaining symptoms may be treated by the former remedy. If the patient does not show any improvement on nosodes after the sufficient amount of time, the former chronic remedy should be reintroduced. Under these conditions, the previous remedy often acts as dramatically as it did in the first time it was given. The effect has been witnessed in many of the experienced homeopathy all over again and again. And then although the magnetic intercurrent remedies are not radically improve the case by itself, it can cause the patient to become resensitized to their original constitutional remedy. There are times when this technique is extremely used. And seventh point is related to the disease genus. The seventh way of using the nosodes is to related disease genus. That example is the use of the Clark use of the pertussin, that is polyethylene. That is the whooping cough. Clark once wrote, I have found in this course a specific for the large proportion of the case of this disease. It should be given every 4 hours to begin with, and if it does not cut short the test in few days or materially modified with severity, another remedy may be chosen from the. So another area where the isodes may be used in the such cases is complications caused by the vaccine. In this case, nosodes of the offending vaccines may be appropriate to remove the side effects of the immunization. Then closely aligned with the use of the nosodes remedy is to desensitize the person of a specific allergy. Most individuals are allergic to more than one antigen at a time, so the chronic remedy with or without miasmatic intercurrent is usually much more effective. Nevertheless, in some stubborn allergy where it is not the case, the isopacific method may prove very useful at it. The use of organs and granular replacers, organopathy and hormonotherapy is also based on this item. And it includes the remedy like thyroidinum, the dried thyroid of the sheep, and adelinum, the internal secretion of the suprarenal gland. This method has proved useful in the cases of the thyroid disease. Now, next point is used as a homeopathic prophylaxis. The eighth way of using the nosodes is as a homeopathic preventive medicine. And an early example was given by Dr. For instance, who successfully used valulinum to prevent smallpox. Nosodes may also be used as a method to protect children from miasma they have inherited through their parents. James Taylor said in his lecture of homeopathic mathematics, if timorinum bobinum to be given in 10 m, 50 m, or cm potency, 2 doses of each potency at longer intervals, all children and young people who have inherited tuberculosis may be immune from their inheritance and resiliency will be restored. This of course led to the children who showed symptoms of the TB miasma, such as nervousness, temper tantrums, emaciation, anemia, swollen glands, frequent pores, etc. And autonosodes. This is also another way of use. Autonosodes means the ninth way is auto in homeopathic remedy. Patient's own substance. This is auto. The patient who is suffering, his own tissue can be potentized and given as a. This method has sometimes helped the patient with nothing else seems to be working. And even once that had a patient suffering from the crisis that was not responding to the well-chosen remedy. This led him to prepare the autonosodes from the saliva of that patient, and autonosodes have been made from sputum, blood, urine, pus, liporia, exudates from skin eruptions, and microbes from culture of the patient. This is often tried when nothing works well. Nevertheless, with observations, homeopaths should be able to develop the characteristic symptoms of the. So, contradiction, where you should not use the nosodes in the active stage of the disease, acute disease, it should not be used. In the explosive stage of the miasma, it should not be used. During the active stage of the recurrent attack, it should not be used. In infection stage, do not use the timorinum is established. So now There are some physical characteristics of the nosodes. Nosodes are indicated where there is a family history in chronic disease, tendency towards the malignancy, suppressed or ill treated skin disorder. All nosodes crave alcohol, profuse perspiration with the, this is the common symptoms for all the nosodes, profuse perspiration with the relief of the symptoms, offensiveness, hemorrhage, chronic catarrhal conditions of the lungs, marked tachycardia, remarkable actions on the glandular system, cancerous condition, trembling, intense nervousness. Merits of the use of the nosodes in the epidemic. Vaccines, though effective, have several challenges in their development, such as long time needed to develop new vaccine, more than 5 years, stockpiles high, and complicated regulations high for need of professional administration and medicine supply, cold chain maintenance of the vaccine delivery, and coverage of population increases slowly, long time to confer protections and is limited. The specific strain usefulness of cluster of population, population and short and long term adverse reactions. Where that situation is very so. However, all the nosodes, homeopathic mathematics, nosodes are very easy to administer as they can be given orally. So, in the vaccines, you have to maintain and you have to take so much care. But homeopathic nosodes can be given like any other medicine. They are natural, rarely, and have the side effects. And they don't they are not attacked. They are safe for adults, the elderly as well as the infant and the child. They are also very economically impact of the less expensive than vaccines. So these are some of the list of the nosodes and the clinical practice. I am not going into the details because you have to study the methamphetamine and nosodes medicines, and you can get the therapeutic indication. And orthopathic, I'm also mentioning some of the important orthopathic medicines that is available in our pharmacy as well as the veterinary hospital. You frequently use the aspirin to buy side effects to remove all this bismuth, DDT, erythromycin, adaline, PCG, durabolin, gamaxin, SCTH, mineralin, and so many vitamin A, B, C, D. They are also, and we have the medicines that are prepared. So challenges in the development. Now there are some challenges are there. The challenges lie with the safety issue in preparing the nosodes and corresponding nosodes for various pathogenic organisms. The number of nosodes developed as per their source till date are as follows: bacterial origin N is equal to 9, viral origin N is equal to 4. Other sources such as pathological origin or disease products, excretion and secretions in 22. The origin of nosodes and their development. The history highlights the challenges of breeding and challenges and need for it. The various challenges that have been debated and discussed about the nosodes are their preparation, source material, safety, standardization, method of detection, virulence, method of collection, toxicity, use of modern technology, etc., which are matter of concern for as well as mentioned by the World Health Organization. The challenge for the future is to refine the preparations of the nosodes and to develop a harmonized way of preparing them, which is conducive to the homeopathic pharmacopoeia across the globe. The researcher future perspective of the nosode development. Researchers curious and interested in nosode development have addressed several steps for their preparations and improvement. Like people are trying to prepare the nosodes of the eggs. They are also trying to prepare of any new situations and new disease that is coming up. New nosodes are to be developed with improved standard respect of the safety and reproducibility. Repository of base preparations may be maintained for various resource-related studies, such as self-life. Nevertheless, resource developed in accordance with the safety guidelines of the by WHO can be handled and epidemic handling as a complement to conventional vaccine and help the patient, government, stakeholders, and the healthcare professionals in more robust manner. This can contribute to in timely containment of the prevailing epidemic. Further homeopathic pathogenetic and the development will also help in therapeutic purpose and manage many chronic diseases. It is assumed that these nosodes can be both fighting against the antimicrobial resistance across the globe. In summary, I'm summarizing my presentation now. Indications of nosodes require good knowledge of the acute, subacute, half-acute, and chronic miasma. Is very important in understanding the use of the nosode. As the disease are knowledge of the disease goes hand by hand with their usage. So you must have the understanding about the miasma. You must have the understanding of the practice of medicine, the acute study of acute, half-acute, and chronic miasma and their action on the system of mass defense is an important part of classical homeopathy. Some modern homeopaths no longer pay any serious attention to the miasma and do not study the way to use nosodes. Some neo-Kantian prescribers, but they do not seem to understand that they study the miasma and use nosodes in various ways depending on the circumstances. It seems at this time, however, the miasma are making necessary comeback as they are an integral part of the homeopathy. So, what I say, I conclude, nosodes is the symbolic representations of the disease constitution. So, nosodes is just the prototype of the disease constitution. So, with the beautiful quotations from Otto von Bismarck, law are like medicines. They generally cure and reveals by a lesser or a passing levels. This is very good quotation. Medicines, never-ending system, but they are based on the law only, and they cure and reveals by a lesser or passing. So with this, I conclude my lecture, and I thank you all for listening me very patiently.
And I thank you from their behalf also. You have explained very elaborately about the queries of the doctors and my query also. So thank you for the session and thank you for this great learning, sir.
Thank you, Ansuji. And I thank Vijan also